The much delayed Ding Baxia case will now likely go full blast. Finally, justice for the Ding Baxia victims may now be attained.
Uusad na sa mas masusing paglilitis ang matagal ng kontrobersyal na kaso na kaugnay ng Dingvaxia matapos ibasura ng isang hukom sa Quezon City ang mga mosyon ng depensa na ipawalang visa ang kaso, kabilang ang mosyon ni dating Health Secretary at ngayong Iloilo Representative Janet Garin. Sa inilabas na kautusan noong April 28, 2026, taong kasalukuyan, sinabi ni RTC Branch 102 Judge Michael Ken De Jesus na walang sapat na basihan ang mosyon para ma-dismiss ang kaso, kabilang ang argumento ng depensa tungkol sa double jeopardy. Iginiit ng depensa na ang 35 kasong hawak ng korte ay kapareho lamang umano ng naunang 8 kaso na naibasura, kaya hindi na umano dapat muling litisin. Ngunit hindi ito pinaboran ng prosecution. Paliwanag ng prosecution, bawat kaso ay magkahiwalay dahil ang mahigit 100 batang nasawi ay may iba't ibang kondisyon at sitwasyon. Isang punto na sinang-ayunan ng hukom. Naharap sa kasong reckless imprudence, sigarin at iba pa resulting in homicide, bukod pa sa mga civil cases na isinampa ng mga pamilya ng mga biktima. Sa desisyong ito ng korte, malinaw na ang susunod na yugto ng kaso ay isang full-blown trial kung saan ilalatag at susuriin ang lahat ng ebidensya sa isa sa pinakamalaking kontrobersya sa larangan ng kalusugan sa ating bansa.
Via MBO Manila Bulletin. The much delayed Ding Baxia case will now likely go full blast after a Quezon City Court judge turned down the motions filed by former Health Secretary and now Iloilo Representative Janet Garin and other co-accused to dismiss the multiple cases for reason of double jeopardy, among others, according to public prosecutors. Finally, justice for the Dingbaxia victims may now be attained. Wow! Magandang balita ito. Matagal na ito. Panahon pa ni Pinoy. Ngayon lang, nagkakaroon ng full-blown trial. Kasi, ang alam ko, may desisyon na parang binawi ata ng Department of Justice yung kaso. Basta, parang may nangyari, hindi ko na masyadong malala, na parang ligtas na si Garin. Only to find out ngayon, ito, meron na palang naisampa sa korte. At ngayon, yung motion to dismiss, kung inaprobahan ng korte, talagang ligtas na si Janet Garin. Ibinasura. Pag ibinasura ang motion to dismiss, I don't know kung mayroon pang provision na mag-motion for reconsideration. Sana maging matatag ang judge na ito na wag nang baguhin. Baka mamaya motion for reconsideration mababaliktad ulit. Itong mga ganitong desisyon ng korte, ibig sabihin, buhay na buhay ang ating justice system. Kasi alam ko mayroong yung mga kaso na yun, parang winidraw ata ng Department of Justice, winidraw. Ito, lumalabas, mayroong korte pala na isampa na at ayaw ng judge na i-dismiss. Gusto niya tuloy ang kaso. Wow. So, tuwan-tuwa ngayon ang mga prosecutors. Kaya silang nag-announce. Kasi once na inindik ka ng mga prosecutors, sila na ngayon ang abogado ng mga tao. Kaya nga, people of the Philippines versus, yun, Janet Garin at iba pang akusado na grabe naman yun. Ang daming nabiktimang mga bata. Yung vaccine pala na yun is, naintindihan ko parang for testing, for trial, clinical trial. Tapos, in-implement na buong bansa. Ayun, may mga nabiktima. Di, kawawa naman. Yung kinabukasan ng mga bata na wala. Eh, masakit yun para sa mga parents. And ako, believe ako, I commend, I salute the Public Attorney's Office kay Attorney Acosta, Persida Acosta, for standing for the rights of these children and their families.
We will file the necessary charges that we shied away from earlier. Yung Dengvaxia is a campaign which exposed children to dengue and to possible death. Up to now, we do not know how many actually died because of Dengvaxia. And the responsibility of the Dengvaxia campaign rests on the shoulder of the lady who is violently reacting to what we are delivering. With that, Mr. Speaker, we rest our case.
Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize our esteemed Deputy Minority Leader, the Honorable Janet Garin.
Representative
Speaker.
Janet Garin is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is our distinguished colleague willing to be interpellated?
I would actually give more preference to more important matters on the floor. But if the lady would want to engage this representation, I never refuse a lady. Gladly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. My first question is, did you feel or did you hear your name being alluded to in my interpellation in the privileged speech of the Honorable Bernadette Herrera D. yesterday?
Mr. Speaker, common sense dictates, and I have a lot of common sense. I was the one interpellating, and then she followed by questioning the interpellation and the message that we were carrying on the floor. So, who else could she have been referring to? The wind? Congressman Daza? Ako po nakatayo rito eh.
So, Mr.
Kaya,
Speaker, my
kung
question
sinasabi
is,
niya na hindi ako ang kanyang pinatatamaan, para sa akin, tama na yun.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I am not saying anything. I am asking a question. Narinig mo ba na sinabi ang pangalan mo, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues? Or let me rephrase my question. If you did not hear that your name was being mentioned, did you feel that you were the one being alluded to?
The lady is speaking like a seasoned lawyer with double meaning questions. Of course, I was feeling that I was being referred to because I was the one interpellating Congresswoman V. But if she would want to say now, officially, I was not referring to you, Mr. Congressman. I will accept the words of a lady. As I said, I respect the rights and privileges of a lady as differentiated from that of a man.
Mr.
Kung
Speaker,
sasabihin niyan,
distinguished
hindi ako yun, hindi ako yun.
Mr. Speaker, ang sinabi ko po na ang fake news ay nakakasakit at nakakamatay dahil maraming life-saving vaccines ang nasira dahil sa mga maling impormasyon, lalo na kung ito hindi nanggagaling sa mga eksperto. Again, Mr. Speaker, I was not specifically alluding to any person unless he or she is guilty that they or he or she is pretending to be an expert where he or she is not. My point here, Mr. Speaker, if the Honorable Atienza is requesting me to say that I am not alluding to him, ang isasagot ko po dyan, depende po sa kanya yun, kasi hindi naman po niya ako kasama 24/7. Kung meron po kayong mga sinasabi kaukol sa bakuna, matatamaan kayo. Pero ang sinasabi niyo naman, totoo, hindi po kayo matatamaan. Let me move further, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Atienza was actually saying that he was interpolating the Honorable Bernadette Herrera D., who was actually expounding on the campaign for a rabid polio vaccination campaign because of what is happening in our country now and the low polio vaccination coverage of IPV, which is pegged 40%. What is the relation of tetanus toxoid to polio vaccine?
Mr. Speaker, this college of members elected by the people should help one another. If anyone has any knowledge of anything, it is his or her duty to help the one delivering the important message. Our intention was to guide Congresswoman D that the problem lies with a question of credibility on the part of the DOH. Credibility and confidence of the public, which were lost because of the tetanus toxoid chicanery. Ang sabi sa mga ina, yun daw ay proteksyon sa tetanus. Ang tanong namin, bakit babae ay kanilang ini-immunize, samantalang manggagawa, karpintero, kaminero, mangingisda, ang siyang tinatamaan ng tetanus. So we researched and we found out the toxoid was laced, 20% of the toxoid was laced with HCG. Alam ni Doktora yan, Secretary of Health. Should know
Mr.
that.
Speaker, distinguished colleague.
Anyway, let me finish my reply. Otherwise, we will not get anywhere. Ang amin po ay constructed that we must now address the problem of lost credibility and confidence. Sinundan on the Nimbaxia scandal, where this house was rocked by that scandal. We spent long hours investigating, and we had found out all the data that we needed to send some people to jail. But in deference to relations and memories of camaraderie, I think the report was not enough and was not pinpointing responsibilities. If the lady felt alluded to, again, hindi ko rin problema yun. Problema nila yun dahil sila ang nagpakana ng Degvaxia. Ang problema ngayon, ang mga ina nagdududa sa gobyerno para
Mr. Speaker,
bakunahan yung kanilang
if
mga
I
anak
may,
ng
para-
polio vaccine.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, para hindi
Mr.
po tayo
Speaker,
dito,
I
let's
cannot
take
tolerate
it one at a time.
any more of
Mr.
this
Speaker,
kind of actuations where the rights of a member of Congress is curtailed. We will not allow it. Allow me to finish, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, ang punto ko lang po na sinasabi sa ating kasamahan dito, para po hindi nalilito ang taong bayan at yung ating mga kasamahan, let's take it one step at a time. Let's discuss polio, and then tetanus toxoid, and then dengue vaccine. Kasi kung ginagawa po nating chop suey, hindi po naintindihan ng mga kababayan natin yung ating mensahe. That's why I was interjecting, Mr. Speaker, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Speaker, malinaw na malinaw po sa aking isipan, niloloko ang tao, kaya nawawala ng tiwala ang mga ina. Ibalik natin ang tiwalang yon, magpababakuna lahat ng mga bata.
Mr.
Ang mga anak ko ay binakunahan sa health center, 6, noong mga panahong nakaraan, na buong buo ang tiwala ng mamamayan sa mga health center. Ngayon, tanungin niyo mga ina, dalawang duda nila. Baka yan yun na naman tetanus toxoid, o kaya Dengvaxia na naman yan. Kaya, ang problema natin, pagtulong-tulungan nating harapin. Let's help Secretary Duque regain public confidence and credibility so that we may be able to vaccinate children who may be exposed to diseases.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, that's why I wanted to clear it up and interpolate our distinguished colleague here. Unang-una po, I am with you, distinguished colleague, in saying that we should help DOH bring back the confidence of the people in terms of public health programs. Kailangan po yan, and that's why if you observe, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, in the series of budget hearings, I was very keen in telling DOH and Secretary Duque, maximize and utilize the experts rather than just letting them sit there. Una po, Mr. Speaker, baka po hindi po naintindihan when he mentioned that I was alluding to the statement on the DOH bringing back the confidence of the people to DOH. Hindi po yun ang problema, Mr. Speaker, when I interpellated the Honorable Bernadette Herrera D. I stood up not because I am a congresswoman, not because I am just a doctor, but more so because I am a mother who also has children. I have actually been trained on advanced vaccinology, but I have never flaunted that. And my training with the University of Geneva taught me many lessons. First, vaccinology is actually a very foreign topic that is difficult to laymanize. Kaya nga po nung narinig ko ang tetanus toxoid, and I was actually of the impression that polio vaccine was the one being discussed, I stood up because of a matter of obligation, having also been trained on the aspect of obstetrics and gynecology. Mr. Speaker of the Honorable Atienza will allow me, tama po yung tanong niya, ay bakit po ba yung mga lalaki, yung mga manggagawa, yung mga kabataan, hindi binabakunahan ng tetanus toxoid? Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, mali po yun. The government vaccination program actually has DPT-1, DPT-2, DPT-3 at 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5 months old. DPT stands for diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. It's a vaccine that is 3-in-1. So at 1.5 months old, libre po na binibigay yung bakuna ng tetanus sa lahat ng mga baby. Ang second dose po ay binibigay at 2.5 months old, and the third dose is at 3.5 months old. Subalit, dahil pagka lumalaki ang bata, bumabawas ang bisa ng bakuna, when I joined the DOH family, meron naman pong syntaxes, minarapat po namin na yung obligasyon ng pribadong mga magulang e ibigay sa DOH. Ano po ba ito? The government has been providing the first 3 doses for free. You need at least 5 doses in your lifetime to be immune from tetanus. That's why we embark. Kasi ang nangyari po, yung private na ang nagpapabakuna at 7 years old and 11 years old at hindi nagiging epektibo kasi walang pambayad yung ibang nanay. That is why we started the school-based immunization campaign where the 4th dose of tetanus toxoid is given at 7 years old and the 5th dose is given at 11 years old. Kaya pagka ikaw ay lumampas na sa edad na 11, you have actually completed the 5 doses. Ano po ba ang sinasabi ng ating kagalang-galang na kasamahan? He is actually referring to the tetanus toxoid booster that is given to pregnant women. Binibigay po siya 2 beses habang buntis yung nanay dahil nung panahon na yun, wala pang school-based immunization program. If you missed your tetanus toxoid at 7 years old and 11 years old at manganganak ka, marami po, Your Honor, ang nanganganak sa ospital na minsan contaminated ang mga gamit at dumadami po yung ating tinatawag na tetanus, neonatal tetanus, and the tetanus that infects the mother. If we see our record, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, nung tinanggal, by virtue of a court order, tinanggal ang tetanus toxoid sa buong bansa, somewhere in the mid-1990s, ang dami pong namatay na mga baby at mga nanay. Kaya agad po itong binalik. And now, just last year, the Philippines is proud to have been declared free of neonatal tetanus. Kaya po ang tanong po ng ating kagalang-galang na kasamahan, bakit hindi yung ating mga lalaki at magsasaka at ating mga kawani, binabakunahan rin po sila. Kaya lang, binibigay po ang booster doses at 7 and 11 years old. And kung meron po tayong mga calamities, makikita niyo po yan, yung ating pong mga mayors and governors dito, pagka merong mga bagyo, o merong mga lindol, o may mga nangyayari, agad-agad sa evacuation centers, nagkakaroon po ng booster shots ang ating mga public health workers. Kung ikaw naman ay nasugatan o na-aksidente, binibigyan ka agad-agad ng 2 klase ng tetanus. Yung po yung tinatawag na TTIG, which is actually tetanus immunoglobulin, ibig sabihin within 24 hours dahil may sugat ka, at yung isa naman ay pwedeng sumunod lang. Yan po, isa lang po ang libre sa gobyerno, yung isa po binibili. Bottom line, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, is that is basically the reason why I stood up yesterday. Because I was seeing that the privileged speech being delivered by our colleague was actually shifting into a lot of issues covering immunization. And the issue on tetanus toxoid causing sterilization has actually been one of the backlogs of vaccination in our country and one of the reasons why neonatal tetanus was not eradicated. On the issue naman of MMR, or the measles, mumps, rubella virus, that was coined falsely and fakely with autism, Dr. Wakefield has been removed of his license. Yan nga po, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, ang rason kung bakit ako tumayo.